there's been a lot of Black Hawks going around, and then it looks like there's video footage of them possibly still going after some UAPs. There's been some missions inside the U.S., and it can't just be about just rounding up immigrants. It has to be something bigger. Do you know anything else about these scenarios at hand?
What I've heard is it's practice scenarios for deporting people they think are a threat to the establishment. Now, I'm still getting more intel on that, but that's what I understand right now, is that these are practice runs. And I'm going to get into that a little bit when we get to that, but I have more information about that, which will kind of lead into that.
So it's not just like normal people, obviously, that's not a threat. So you're saying...
Well, I honestly, it's yes, for your average citizens. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger, but yes, that's what that is. I don't know if you ever heard of the D-Wave computer.
Yeah.
It's a supercomputer, and that's what they've used to predict the easiest path, the best way to victory. Operation to figure out who's a threat to the government, who's not. And I want to say right now that I'm not at any political stance. I am, you're either good or you're evil, or you're going to do the right thing or you're going to do the wrong thing. I'm not a Trump supporter or anything, but I think that I'm 100% certain that the Q operation was the same as Operation Trust that they ran in Russia. What they're doing is they're gaining the trust of people because they're sorting us out. They need a database of who's the top threats to their plan of their new world order. And when I talk about these Blackhawks doing these practice runs, this is what they're going to do. They're going to strike. This is what they always do in the night. And they're going to take the people that are they feel are the most threatening to them and their plan. And this might be alarming to people, but it needs to be said because you need to know that, like all these rallies that people go to, they're full of facial recognition software. They're watching to see who comes to the rallies, who's making what comment, who's doing what video, and there's nothing wrong with talking about it because, most of us are nothing to them anyways. So it's not like it matters. You got to talk about it because people need to know what's going on. That's the only way that you can stop what's happening.
Yeah.
Going on, I was talking about Blackwater, and they have a high estimate of 30,000. Just think about this. I know a team of eight guys, just 8 guys to 10 guys. Let's say a team is of 8. You break them down to teams of 30,000 guys. That's 3,750 strategic positions they could be in. It could be everywhere. And that's what's going to happen is when the chaos comes, they decide that they need that. These are the people that are going to pull it off because 8 of these guys can make you think there's a whole army of people out there. You wouldn't know.
So another question somebody has, though, that's I think could be very helpful for everybody. Said, what do we do? Here it is. What can we do to stop them? They are way too big and the evil in the air. How?
That's why they have the depopulation agenda on us, because although they have the power and they have the money, we always have had the numbers. We have always had that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of us in coming together in numbers. And if you can crack the code and people can get the word out and people actually bite onto this and believe it, that's how you stop it. Because if people are saying, we know what you're up to, we're not going to put up with it, that's the way to stop it. It can be done.
Yeah, so let's say, in giving people a deeper perspective into stopping it, like from a military perspective, retreating is when you know that you have no way to win. And what would cause them to retreat in these, this huge awakening of information and us gathering and also spiritually being heightened and not being in fear, because when they see a fearful population, they're ready to take advantage of that.
Yes. I don't, that's why they've got these like Blackwater mercenaries, because I don't think that when it comes down to it, so there's orders and there's unlawful orders. I don't think that anybody out there is going to say, I'm not arresting people in my own town. I'm not shooting that guy. I know him. I mean, even America, even if somebody don't know, I don't. If you're gonna have a hard time, I know I would. If I was told that when I was in, if somebody said, you're gonna have to shoot this guy, and he's an American citizen, I would absolutely refuse to do that, even though I know, what could happen. That's why I think that you're using foreign operatives, because they don't care. They don't care if you're American. Actually, a lot of these people, especially the foreign operatives who are in these sleeper cells, they don't care if you're American or what this country stands for or what it is. Especially mercenaries, they really don't care. They just care about where their paychecks come from. They don't care what your cause is. I mean, some of them might, but for the most part, they don't care. That's why they're mercenaries.
Yeah, and so a guy talked about this a long time ago. I think it was called the Multi-Jurisdictional Task Force. Was going to be the one who round people up, and they were going to separate children from men. But if we could see all this coming in the first steps, how would it look like? And then the smart cities agendas, I feel like if we're locked into that, it's even worse than the Black Hawk takeover, because at that point, then we're all in a technological prison. What do you see them? What do you see them doing within these next span of the 2-3 years? Because we're literally in the 2025 Deagle report, the population year of 2025, and the fourth turning.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen an uptick. They'll be talking about AI. They'll be hyping that up, talking about it, how good it's going to be. Just like everything else that they want people to buy into, they'll tell you how great it is, how it's going to be good for certain things, and that's how they're going to get people to follow it. And I expect that there's going to be a lot of talk about that to get people comfortable with AI, because I mean, I think it's dangerous, but people got to get on board, and they're going to get them on board, whether they have to or not. And I'm sure people's trust in Trump will help with that. He'll help buy into it and say, "Oh no, there's nothing wrong with that." It's like you said about 5G.
Yeah, but a lot of people that come here, instead of saying no, Trump is going to do everything good for us, they ask questions and they say, do you think Trump will stop this, or do you think Trump will do this? And I just generally talk to them and say, hey, no, because the technology, they're going to say we're fighting against China, but in reality, it's all countries using it as a form of enslavement. And they say like, well, their excuse is, well, we can't not upgrade because we'll have another country outdo us, which I get that, but that's not really the reality. It's about a technocratic dictatorship. At the end of it all, there is no parties. There's only the technical elite that's going to rule, which basically is a technology infrastructure, which is the money is being funneled there right now. We have all evidence of that happening. And in the end game of that, it becomes the mark of the beast system. And then to get on the internet, it becomes all this. So again, this is really a dangerous step, and it's only the first phases of it. So we're not saying overnight you're going to see everything change. We're talking about future events and how they're going to be doing this over the next course of years.
A lot of this is going to be probably to get people to move, to relocate.
And here's the thing, they're not telling us that when they activate this AI agenda is that they're going to have us surveil with armed drones. That's eventually what it's going to be about. So this is a drone that's armed right here, and it's like flying. It can drop smoke. It's basically military grade drones. But this one right here is not what will be used in the oncoming scenario. It'll be much more advanced than these type. But again, in a smart city, there is no police. Like really, it's mainly they unarm the police. They have the technology, and actually they have only like special forces or black ops who are basically coming in. They actually saw that predictive programming on Colony. They said instead of having actual physical slaves, they needed to do it through technology because people would enjoy enslavement more. I want you to give some pointers on the smart city and the technology that is at hand here that people are not really much aware of that we're going to be speaking on.
Yeah, I mean, I know of at least 15 U.S. cities are planned for 15-minute cities, not to mention all the ones across the whole world. I mean, you got Australia, Canada, Spain, China. I mean, Italy. It's all over, and Yeah, people have to understand that these 15-minute cities, like you said, it's going to be restricted. You're not going to be able to go anywhere without constant surveillance, and microchips will be the norm. There'll be smart meters everywhere, cameras, high population density. You think kind of like the movie Judge Dredd, where they're living in those high rises. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that, but that's what it would be like. You wouldn't have a car. Well, the elites will live everywhere, and I think part of this agenda for Agenda 2030 doing this is because to keep us our eyes from watching what they do, because they want to be able to do whatever they want in public. They don't think they should have to hide from us.
And so this is really like the expansionism into the technocracy state. So the border, the smarter wall, also, like we said, that's really what they're presenting later down the line. That's going to be presented as a solution. So how do you think it's all going to go as far as the drones, the surveillance, and from a military aspect? Something has to be done for them to be able to have drones approved to even strike on soil, because it's only in the Middle East and other areas. But in order for them to do that, talk about what would have to happen for them to be able to approve something like that. We did get the drone scenario a few ago where they were trying to approve new laws. I felt like that was a way where they was trying to do something on that note.
Yeah, I would suspect that they would pull off some kind of false flag that they would use as an excuse to say, you know what, we need drones to do this. It's too much dangerous for our troops to go and do this, or something on those lines. But I have a feeling it would be something like that.
Now moving into the other part, the VLF and stuff like that. What did you have to talk about on VLF, since we pulled up a contract about DARPA in November 14, 2025, talking about global attenuation with very low orbit technology and VLF technology, 5 million to 50 million estimated. And people were reporting all types of sickness, all types of things, and we showed maps of what was going on just the other day in our last video. So again, this is another agenda that also is weather warfare, because they use these VLF towers to attenuate the atmosphere as well. So what's your take on it?
Yeah. So the chemtrails and stuff. First, if anybody doesn't believe that there's like, the chemtrails aren't real, that's not. That started their proof of chemtrails is Operation Popeye. It was a weather modification program that was used in Southeast Asia from 67 to 72, and they wanted to use that as a weapon back then. Can you imagine what they can do now? But combined with EMF, it opens up something in our brain, allowing this concoction of toxic chemicals to break the brain barrier, and deactivate the pineal gland. And that's the most sensitive part of our nervous system. And they know this. If your nervous system is damaged, that causes all kinds of problems health-wise. And it's like, why was the frequency of 2.4 gigahertz chosen? It was the most destructive to the pineal gland and cells. It's all also connected to the Project Bluebeam and what they call the space fence.
What? Space fence?
The space fence, I don't know if you heard of that.
No, I haven't. What's that?
It's United States Air Force and Lockheed Martin built this for space debris, but it'll have the capability to surveil the entire planet. And this is why Trump's talking about them spending $500 billion for AI infrastructure, because this is going to be like Skynet and Terminator. It's designed to operate in a low orbit, designed to be one interconnected machine run by AI interacting with cell towers to create a giant wireless network that's manipulated through ionization of the atmosphere, which is what they're doing when they spray chemtrails. It also enhances holographic imagery a la Bluebeam. And they ionize the atmosphere with HAARP.
They have so many devious plans. But yes, I feel like at the end of it all, as a community, our power is our shared resources and information. And the way we do that is the way we connect here, the way we are spiritually and we're aligned with God and our spirit and our soul is in the right place. Eventually, like I said, it comes down to the 3D world and bartering and trading and remembering like the dollar is not going to be always valuable, but whatever you have could be valuable. Your skills could be valuable. A lot of stuff we need to just get ready for. I feel like in spiritually on a level, some people say, well, my whole life I've been getting ready for this. So that's great for you if you've been doing that, but not everybody have.
Yeah, and I feel this way that I think the better relationship you have with God, the easier you're able to see things for what they are.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that more, but that's what I think. I think that God helps people see, and I think even people that can't see or don't want to see it, there's things that happen to them that they, you have that chance. I believe that's what it is. I think that you have a closer relationship with God, that He's going to show you things. He's going to make you understand things that some people might not understand or see.
That too, like the mentality. Like I want to go into that really quick with everybody that's here right now. The mental mindset and the preparation just to be at calm, be at ease, be at peace within yourself.
Yeah.
Finding peace within, I feel like is very important. Maybe years ago I found it. For it's so many scenarios that we've been through, like so many times, like I could have been gone. But and now when I hear
everything you've gone through has prepared you for now. And the same thing with me. I look back at my life, I'm like, I know all these things that have happened just to get me to where I'm at now. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, Satan chooses his people and God chooses his people, and that's just the way it is. And we're pitting, and like you said, this is spiritual warfare. This is deeper than money or anything on this plane.
Yeah.
This is a war for our souls, and it's people got to take it serious because it is.
Yeah, it is 100%. So take a place of peace, prayer, and just like take time to focus on nothing. You just go into just not thinking at all, because it's healing actually when you do that.
I agree.
Because all the thoughts and worry and just, it's just controlling the aspects of the mind, which is important. You got to go through mental practice doing that, because that's the whole part of mental warfare, to always keep you in a design of fear and worry. But if you can move out of that, then you start to elevate your spirit and you start moving up the ladder. Because actually, when you study the lower frequencies and entities, they're always down there in fear, despair, anger, like all of that. But then once we come out of that, we get to the state of forgiveness, the state of, because walking around with a heavy load, a hardened heart ain't going to help you either. You need to forgive. You need to keep moving forward. You need to evolve. Like we all need to evolve. We all have our own problems and issues,
Yep. And
that's pretty much, the big aspect as a community. I just wanted to speak on that because I think we don't speak on it enough. And I'm getting ready to. You have any final words to say?
No. I think that I went over everything I had for you. I enjoyed I'm glad you had me come back. I really appreciate you bringing me back.
Did everybody else appreciate having him back here in the chat? I wanted to see what everybody else thought. Y'all asked for him to come back, and he's back. And I mean, if y'all think y'all want to see him on future shows, say, hey, we enjoyed him. Yeah, we'd like to see him come back too. Yeah, people said they enjoyed it for sure. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, people say yes. Thank you. Great talk. Excellent. Glad you came back. You're awesome. Somebody says God's gonna pull you out of this when it's the right time. Yeah, I believe that 100%. Somebody says, yes, bring them back on. Thank you from Aussie land. What's going on? Appreciate that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, hit that share button.
Yeah, hit that like, hit that share if you're here right now. We're like this growing family. We're doing this thing. We're here. We're going out on the ground. And if you missed that Bill Gates Smart City investigation on the ground, we did that video too. Go watch that. That'll be on my channel. Like I just did that one recently. So appreciate every last one of you. Much love, support, and Thank you all for being here today. We're going to have a lot more coming.